mynews.studio.
A group of women in Kerala is building what some call a real-life Noah's Ark for endangered rainforest plants. So, what's pushing this urgent rescue effort forward?
Today is July 24th, 2025. Let's start with the basics. Kerala sits right in the heart of the Western Ghats. It's not only a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but also one of the world's most important biodiversity hotspots. But why is this region so special?
The numbers really stand out. Over 6,000 species of vascular plants, and about half of them are found nowhere else. Add hundreds of threatened animal species, and you have a region where every square kilometer counts. But it's also one of the most at risk, with deforestation, climate change, and ongoing habitat loss. There's a lot at stake.
So what does this look like on the ground? Who's stepping up to actually protect these plants?
That's where the Rainforest gardeners come in, a team of local women who began with a small community conservation project and turned it into a sanctuary for rare plants. They use a mix of traditional ecological knowledge and modern horticulture. Their approach is pretty unique. Want me to break down why it matters?
It's a grassroots model, right? I mean, they go into the forest, collect seeds or sometimes whole plants if they're threatened by storms or logging, and bring them back. But how do they manage to keep such sensitive species alive once they're at the sanctuary?
For the most endangered plants, there's an intensive care phase. Think special pots, controlled humidity, and careful shading. The tougher species go through a rehabilitation period to get used to the new conditions before being reintroduced to the wild. It's a very methodical, almost medical process.
How do they measure success? I mean, is it just about keeping the plants alive inside the sanctuary, or does it go further?
Survival rates after reintroduction are a big metric. They also look at whether wildlife that depends on these plants is returning. Right now, up to 40% of the Western Ghats plant species are represented in the sanctuary. More than 200 rare species are either thriving there or have been put back into the wild.
You mentioned traditional knowledge earlier. What does that actually mean in practice?
It means using organic composting instead of chemical fertilizers. For pest control, they use things like cow urine-based sprays, simple but rooted in local practice and effective. The methods are sustainable and easy to replicate.
And the team is all women. Why does that matter in this setting?
In Kerala, and really in much of the conservation field, these roles have traditionally been held by men. But here, these women started with little formal training, learned through hands-on mentoring, and now lead as horticulturists, naturalists, and educators. It's shifted ideas about who can lead in conservation.
How have local communities responded? I'd expect some resistance, especially around land use.
Actually, the reaction's been mostly positive. The Rainforest gardeners run workshops for farmers and schoolchildren, sharing sustainable practices. Communities now see them as protectors of both the forest and local livelihoods, and that's helped change attitudes.
But have they run into pushback or big challenges?
Deforestation and competing land uses are still major threats. Collaboration with local authorities and NGOs has helped, but it's always a balancing act.
Is their model spreading to other places beyond Kerala?
Yes, it is. International conservation groups are now looking at their methods as a possible blueprint for other biodiversity hotspots. It's local action, but it has implications far beyond Kerala, especially since biodiversity loss affects food security, medicine, and climate resilience.
So would you say that grassroots, women-led projects like this are key to wider conservation strategies?
Definitely. The Rainforest gardeners show that local knowledge, inclusion, and hands-on work can have a real impact and can inspire others elsewhere.
It's a strong example of how plant conservation can also change communities and challenge old assumptions. Thanks for walking us through it.
And thank you for tuning in. This episode was brought to you by mynews.studio. You can try it now for free.